But we have Jamie Coyle after a disappointing 3-2 defeat to Gloucester City. Jamie, was that all down to how we defended that defeat?
Do you know what? I've got to give them credit, to be honest with you. I thought they came here, they had 5 at the back, defended really well. And the 3 boys that were in our final third worked their absolute backsides off and caused us loads of problems. And I mean, there is some ridiculous individual mistakes that have led to their goals today. But I've got to give them credit. I'm looking at it now. The teams that have come here this year and have really rolled their sleeves up and had a right battle and a right go, we've struggled against. And you know, I'm looking at individuals now today, and clearly from the side, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, there was too many players that are off it. And you can't carry players, you know, at any level. And there's 3 or 4 today that nowhere near the standards that they've been at recently. You know, they've been phenomenal recently, been on a great run. But you've had 3 or 4 that have had off days today, and our quality all over the pitch was poor. But like I said, I thought they come in and done a job on us and defended everything we threw at them. We didn't really test their goalkeeper, I don't think. And I think from 3 or 4 shots that they've had today, they've scored from. So, you know, it's both boxes today. We haven't quite looked to break them down or had the quality in the final third, and then, you know, they've had the opposite where they've had chances and they've scored.
It's not surprised us. We know how they play, Tony. They know what they do. They get the ball in behind, they get it forward. And we've just, is it the fact that you don't think we've turned up? Have we struggled with them tactically? No,
we've watched their videos, we've prepared for the game, and we knew exactly, you know, we looked at their game against Paul, and they've played exactly the same as they did then, and we knew that they was going to compact the midfield. They knew they were very narrow. Their wing backs don't get on, they literally stay as a back 5. But what they do, the front 3, they cause problems because they chase lost causes. And they done that today, and they fed off scraps, but they turned the scraps into more quality than what we did.
Were we a bit too open for your liking for 2 of the goals they scored in open?
No. I mean, from the side, I was constantly just, when we got back to 2-2, just making sure you pick and choose your runs. Leaving Connor in there, and I've got to look at the video because I'm sure when Jack's won the header, the guys pulled him away from the ball, and he's gone through. And I don't know where the covering was. I'm gonna have to look at the video because it looked like a shambles from where I was from the side for the last one. And then if you break the goals down, I don't know what Christian's doing. It'll be sporting blunders. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my whole career. I don't know what he was trying to do, whether he was trying to volley it against the centre forward or whatever else, and it's gone near enough the top corner. So there's some strange decisions today, and there's been some players that are off it, but you know, they've been excellent recently. They really have, and just today we've had too many that weren't at the standards that they've set recently, and unfortunately against a team that are fighting for their lives and they're scrapping, and you know, they're battling for every first and second ball like they did today. We've come second best.
I'm guessing some of the fans would say when we brought on Tom Bradbrook, did we not think, because we were slow starting and because I thought they were on top for the first 20 minutes, half hour, because you did have a go in the first half, did you not think about changing it a bit earlier? Or
potentially.
Did you not starting?
Yeah, we did think about it, but you know, the boys have been playing really well recently. You know, obviously we've changed Nana because he had a slight knock, and it's the first time apart from Ryan that's come in that we've kept the same team, and you know, we've won through and a bounce. So it's something that we need to try and do, because we haven't had an opportunity once this year to actually keep the same 11, which is frustrating from the side, obviously. But you know, you've got to give the boys credit for what they've done recently. It's been, you know, 3 decent performances before today. But we've come against a team, like I say, that are down the bottom. They're scrapping, but the frustrating thing is, you know, we want to try and build momentum and win games to get ourselves in and around the playoffs. And I was expecting a lot more from certain individuals today.
Does that mean that you'll consider making changes for the trip to Bognor?
Of course I will. Yeah, definitely. I think there was too many today that we carried through, and if we're going to, you know, make a surge between now and the end of the season and try and get in the playoffs, you've got to have consistency, and you need players that you can rely on collectively as well as individually, and we didn't have that today.
Does that include midfield, Jamie? Do you think that we possibly lost part of the game today in midfield?
Yeah, you say that, but I thought our best player by a mile was Connor Diamond. I thought it's his best performance for weeks. It really was. He was, you know, winning the most of the second balls in his area, and you know, he can't do 3 or 4 players' jobs, unfortunately, at any level. So, you know, I thought that he done really well, but you need, when you're playing against a real narrow midfield, you need your wingers to tuck in and compete and help you out when we haven't got the ball, and then obviously have the quality in the final third when we won it. But I think it was a little bit lacklustre, and our quality when we did win the ball back, especially in the first half, was poor. But that was the aim. You know, we always tend to play better when we go down the slope here. And if you're getting at 0-0, we have a go in the second half and we can change things around. But it wasn't to be, and we got sucker punched at the end with the 2 goals.
Do you see it being a bit of a shootout the way Bognor play on Tuesday night? Is it going to be who scores the most goals, or are you going to go there and try and be compact?
Well, I want to try and keep clean sheets. You know, that's the only way that you actually move forward. Is you've got to be compact as a back four and with a 5 with a goalkeeper, and pick and choose your runs forward as full-backs, and that's what we've got to try and do. And obviously it will be a different test for us on Tuesday because they're a good footballing side and they play out from the back, and we've got to make sure that we're organised when we're out of possession. But you know, it's concentration. The reason we've had 3 wins and a bounce before today is because everyone's done their jobs individually, and you know, put a shift in for the side. And unfortunately today we've had 2 or 3 that haven't really turned up, and you're not going to win a game of football.
Are you disappointed we never put their keeper under pressure? Because he's had a mare last week. Today he's thrown one in his net as well. So, you know, we've not really, have we, made him do too much? Even his kicking we didn't put under pressure.
Do you know what? I look at both ends. I don't think Bailey's had a save apart from the first half. He's had a great save at the near post, but all the other shots have gone in the goal. So it's both ends. You know, it's both ends. Although I thought Bradley Goldberg done really well today. He worked his socks off, and he fed off scraps because the quality into him weren't great today. But like I say, I think they turned a scraps and a scrappy game in terms of the front 3 that were working hard into more quality, and obviously got the goals.
So we had 2 games in hand basically on some of the ones. It's not all doom and gloom. We've not lost them both, but it is. We've got to go to Bognor and get a result.
Yeah, of course we do. If we want to get in the playoffs, if we want to get in the playoffs, we've got to turn this around. And that's the good thing about a result like this, is you've got a game on a Tuesday night to actually get a reaction from certain players, which we need, because you know, we're not settling for mediocre middle of the table. We want to push on and do the best we can between now and the end of the season to try and get in the playoffs.
We saw Harley Willard go. And you brought in Ryan Hall. Firstly, talk about what Ryan will bring and how you thought he'd done today, and how comes Harley's gone.
Well, Harley first of all contacted me out of the blue and said his agent's been touting him around. He's got an opportunity to go to Sweden and have a trial at a pro club. And at this stage of the season, with us where we are in the table, we need players that are going to be committed to the cause and try and get us to where I think we deserve to be in the playoffs at the end of the season. And I can't have players going on trials here, there and everywhere, and especially when they was going to miss a game today. So you know, I wish him well. I hope he does get a move or a deal over in Sweden where he's gone. But you know, the priority is Welling United Football Club, and that's the reason why we brought Ryan in.
And what can you tell us about Ryan? Is that what we can expect, what we saw today, where he's going to do a little bit off the ball and he's going to try and...
Yeah, I thought he worked really hard, especially in the first half. He has been playing in the 10 for Merstham, and that's where I've seen him the majority of the time. But I know he's got ability on the ball, and he showed that in the first half. Played a great diag to Bradley Goldberg and put him through. And he worked hard, and you know, you take your hat off to him, because that's the minimum requirement. Even if you're not quite at it, or you're having an off game, if you work hard, and that's the minimum requirement that we've said from the start of the season. You have to give the work rate and help out, you know, as a team, and he done that. But you know, it's going to be taking him a little bit of time maybe to actually adjust from a 10 to come out as an 11. But I thought he done well today for his debut. It's a heavy pitch, it's difficult. And he'll build with confidence and obviously with his positioning.
Do you see our style of play change a little bit now the pitches have gone? Because the pitch today, it literally is going if it's not gone already, and it is hard to try and play any kind of football.
It is. But then you know, I'm looking at myself now. You've got to pick players that are going to actually roll their sleeves up and have a battle, and that's what it's going to be between now and the end of the season. So personnel changes and starting 11s will be adjusted, because you know, you can't have some of the performances today in terms of when we was out of possession just weren't quite there. And like I say, you know, I'm not going to be too harsh on the players, because they've given us a real good run in the last 3 games previous to today. But you know, we've had too many not out today.
Jamie, thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you on Tuesday night.
Thank you. Cheers.